Chapter 1 of West African Folk Tales by William H. Barker. By Lizzie Driver. How We Got the Name Spider Tales. In the olden days, all the stories which men told were stories of Nankupon, the chief of the gods. Spider, who was very conceited, wanted the stories to be told about him. Accordingly, one day he went to Nankupon and asked that in future all tales told by men might be Anansi stories instead of Nankupon stories. Nankupon agreed on one condition. He told Spider, or Anansi, that he must bring him 3 things. The first was a jar full of live bees, the second was a boa constrictor, and the third a tiger. Spider gave his promise. He took an earthen vessel and set out for a place where he knew were numbers of bees. When he came in sight of the bees, he began saying to himself, "They will not be able to fill this jar. Yes, they will be able. No, they will not be able," until the bees came up to him and said, "What are you talking about, Mr. Anansi?" He thereupon explained to them that Nankupon and he had had a great dispute. Nankupon had said the bees could not fly into the jar, and Anansi had said they could. The bees immediately declared that of course they could fly into the jar, which they at once did. As soon as they were safely inside, Anansi sealed up the jar and sent it off to Nankupon. Next day he took a long stick and set out in search of a boa constrictor. When he arrived at the place where one lived, he began speaking to himself again. "He will be just as long as this stick. No, he will not be as long as this. Yes, he will be as long as this." These words he repeated several times, till the boa came out and asked him what was the matter. "Oh, we have been having a dispute in Nankupon's town about you. Nankupon's people say you are not as long as this stick. I say you are. Please let me measure you by it." The boa innocently laid himself out straight, and Spider lost no time in tying him onto the stick from end to end. He then sent him to Nankupon. The third day he took a needle and thread and sewed up his eye. He then set out for a den where he knew a tiger lived. As he approached the place he began to shout and sing so loudly that the tiger came out to see what was the matter. "Can you not see?" said Spider. "My eye is sewn up, and now I can see such wonderful things that I must sing about them." "So are my eyes," said the tiger. "Then I too can see these surprising sights." Spider immediately did so. Having thus made the tiger helpless, he led him straight to Nankupon's house. Nankupon was amazed at Spider's cleverness in fulfilling the 3 conditions. He immediately gave him permission for the future to call all the old tales Anansi tales. End of How We Got the Name Spider Tales. This recording is in the public domain.